Hello, Aries. This is Michelle coming at you with Page of Wands Intuitive. I am doing twin flame skeptic readings for twin flames and separation. And what I mean by twin flame skeptics is these readings are geared towards people who have gone through a kind of dark night of the soul or soul awakening, a lot of maybe pretty cataclysmic events in your life that you feel have been facilitated by a catalyst relationship. That can be defined as a twin flame relationship, a soul relationship, or a karmic relationship. I try not to get too caught up in semantics, but if you've stumbled across twin flames in the twin flame journey and you feel that these readings resonate with you, then great. If you just want to view this as a basic overall love reading, that might work for you as well, between a masculine and feminine counterpart. So however you want to take these messages, I welcome you. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to go ahead and use my trusted deck here. This is my Tarot of the Old Path. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down 3 cards on the left and for the Divine Masculine, 3 cards on the right for the Divine Feminine, and then 2 connecting energy cards. And I do leave those face down until I'm ready to see them because I like to read the masculine and the feminine first without being skewed any which way. So yeah, and this is mostly for those of you that are in separation. I just do believe my readings come out more geared towards twin flames and separation. And for me, this is more about, the skeptic part comes in with, really feeling like a lot of the twin flame journey resonates with you, but maybe you have that understanding a little bit more that this is more about a soul journey and not so much about reuniting with a particular person, namely with your twin. Of course, that is part of this, but what I'm really trying to get to is maybe focusing a little bit more on the personal soul mission that the twin flame journey brings about, and that I think is really, really important, and the most important aspect, really, of what this is all about. Okay, so anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and lay down my 3 cards here for the Divine Masculine. And then my 3 for the Divine Feminine. And then I'm going to lay the 2 connecting energy cards face down. And I did already meditate and shuffle the deck, okay? I like to spare you that process, guys, especially since it's like kind of awkward that I shuffle with one hand. All right? So anyway, on the left-hand side, we'll get right into it. We've got the Devil, Divine Masculines, in this deck known as Temptation. This card is all about feeling bound to something. Usually it's something of the earthly realm. So it might not be. It could be mental and emotional. But I do look at this as being more about addictions. This could be about lust. This could be about having a really deep sexual, passionate connection to your twin, to your Divine Feminine. This is all about feeling really bound by something that you can't get out of. But keep in mind that the devil always represents self-imposed chains, right? The devil is a figurehead. He's not really the evil one. He's not really the one keeping you bound. You are. You're keeping yourself bound by some sort of fear, some sort of resistance to change or an ability to move on. All right? And a lot of times this is about compensating for something. This is about when we talk about codependency, it's usually because we are not able to handle emotions or a certain situation, right? So we turn to another substance in order to numb that out. But we realize if we were just to take control back of the situation, take control of our emotions, that we could shrug off these chains and we would no longer be bound. So that's what this card is all about. When I see this in twin flame journey, a lot of times I feel like this is people feeling like they can't change or they can't move, a lot of times directly in relation to their twin, that it's just making them feel like really imprisoned in a way. And a lot of that I think does have to do with sort of a lustiness, especially because this is the Temptation card in this deck. Underneath that, we have the 7 of Pentacles. This is our worker card, right? We just got this in a collective reading I just did. And I get it a lot, actually, on this journey. This is about all of these pentacles have been planted by this man. He's toiled. He's put in his blood, sweat, and tears, planting all these pentacles on this tree. And now he's sitting back and he's waiting to see the fruits of his labor. So what I was just relating this card to that I think is important to bring up is about surrender. Okay, this is the point in which this gentleman gets to go, I've done all this work. I've given. I've worked, and now worked. And now it's time for me to step aside and get out of my own way and let the universe take over. and let the situation move along on its own. And the pentacles are directly related to health, wealth, and spirituality. So whatever this man has been working on probably has something to do with one, if not all of those things. But this is a time, this is a reassurance that all of this hard work was not in vain, and that there really is going to be the possibility of reaping the fruits of your labor. Okay? Because we see that in the upright. And then right under that, we have the Seven of Wands. So we've got, guys, this is interesting. Oh, Temptation's a 15. I thought it was a 16. Never mind. I was going to say that boils down to a 7, but that is the 15. We've got two 7s here. So we've got the 7 of Pentacles, and then we've got the 7 of Wands. And this man has built a very strong foundation around him. You see that? He's got all of his sticks up there, and he's holding one right in front of him, and he is a solo figure on this card. And this card to me is all about forging your own battle, standing up for what you believe in, fighting for something you want. Right now, this guy can oftentimes be sort of fighting a lonely battle because he's the only one standing there. And he's the only one with this viewpoint, and he's the only one with this opinion, or he's the only one with this idea, but he's very adamant about defending it and protecting it. I also pulled in the collective energy, which is staring right at me. How appropriate. Defend to the end the worthwhile. That's if I had to give a phrase to this 7 of Wands, it would be defend to the end the worthwhile. That's what this guy's doing. Okay? All right, masculines. Very, very cool. Very interesting cards to start off with. I can't wait to clarify those. We're going to move over to the feminine side real quick. Feminines, the lone man in this deck, hangman in the traditional deck. This guy is purposely hanging upside down. Okay? His coins are falling out of his pocket. He's got the moth there, the mountain in the background, and the crow. Okay? This card says a lot. This card is about putting yourself in a position to see a situation from a different perspective. This guy's willingly hanging here, so he's making the 4 with his foot there. This has to do almost, that's representative to me of balance. And this has to do because of the 2 and the 2. 4 is a very balancing number. The crow is all about magic, right? The moth is about transformation. The mountain is about overcoming challenges. The money falling out of his pocket is about wealth, his relationship to wealth, which I also talked a lot about in my collective reading and has been coming up quite a lot in a lot of the other signs readings. So this person, this is great, feminines. I like to see this card. I like to see when someone's taking a new perspective on something. What it is, I'm not sure yet, but it might have something to do with this guy. This is the Page of Swords. This is my collector. This guy collects knowledge. He collects ideas. See how he's got the mushrooms there? He sort of can be standing in the shadows sometimes, listening and observing and taking in the knowledge. That's what he does. And sometimes he also stands for communication, simple communication, written communication, spoken communication, ideas and thoughts, right? Being put into action. Swords are fast energy action cards. The Ace of Swords would be a new spark of an idea, a truth coming to light, a clarity. That's kind of when you get your like, aha, I understand this now. This is communicating it. Moving that idea forward, moving that truth forward. This could also be a person. This could be a younger air sign. This could be a Gemini, Aquarius, or a Libra. But it doesn't have to be, because you guys know I don't read like that. Just so you know, well, you probably don't know yet, Aries, because this is the first time I'm doing your reading. But I don't take all these court cards as being cold, hard, whatever their sign is that's being represented here, okay? I don't think this necessarily has to be an air sign, although it could be. It could be a younger air sign energy that that is going to communicate with you, or that is communicative, or, because he's not in the reverse, that would be somebody that's not talking, or is just listening and gathering knowledge and waiting to make his move and waiting to confront you. So this could be an energy that you're taking in too. Maybe because you've got the hangman here in the perspective, maybe you're just standing by and you're kind of gathering all your knowledge there. and you're hanging upside down trying to look at your masculine from a different perspective, and you're trying to really get a sense on what's going on. All right, we'll see. What's really interesting is on top of that, you have the High Priest in reverse, or the Hierophant in the traditional deck in reverse, right? So what this card usually represents is tradition. Some sort of traditional, fundamental foundation, right? This could have to do with marriage. This could have to do with a religious institution. This could have to do with an educational institution. This could be your basic reading, writing, research card. This could be about joining a class. This could be about divorce, especially in the reverse. And this could be about being a teacher, a mentor, but it's upside down. So you've got finding a different perspective. You've got a communicative air sign. Someone that has to do with knowledge and communication. And then you've got an institution in reverse. A reversal of something institutional. Something fundamental being turned on its head here. So again, we're going to clarify with that, and we're going to find out exactly what that is. Let's move into our connecting energy. First card we have is the Five of Wands in reverse. This card is all about differing opinions and ideas. Family conflict, this can be. This can be conflict in the workplace. This could be lots of competition, right? Everyone's trying to get their sticks up there. Everybody wants to build that TP. Everybody's throwing in their 2 cents, okay? In the reverse, I see this as, maybe a collaboration that's not happening, that needs to happen, conversations that need to happen, action that needs to happen between all these people, right? Kind of like a starting of something to get to a compromise. Or I see this as being people that have been doing this for quite a long time, and it's fading out, right? We're almost done with all of this nonsense, fighting and bickering. He said this, she said that, blah, 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 right? I think that this is kind of a washing out in the reverse there. And then, yeah, we've got the new beginning right under it, the Fool right underneath that. So I'm seeing there's a new beginning that's a connecting energy here. Although I'm not quite sure with what yet, because I think we really need those clarifiers. And then it's right underneath the other combining energy, which is this moving out of this conflict. So whatever this conflict is that's moving out, perhaps that's what's leading into the new beginning here with the Fool, right? The ability for this energy to really take on a different form. And maybe for the feminines, this means something has to break down here. Something has to be dismantled. Something foundational needs to be removed or restructured, right? Let's clarify. So divine masculines, and this is for July, if I didn't mention that, guys. It is June 30th, so I'm just doing these for the next 30 days, so this will be June 30th to July 30th. So mostly this energy is moving you through July, and then when we get to August, I'll do a new one for August here pretty soon, because I'm going to try and stay ahead of the ball. All right, so we're clarifying for Aries, twin flame, divine masculine. Give me 1 second. I'm almost done shuffling these guys around. I think we got it. Okay. Oh, lordy. I feel like I called that one, although I'm not sure why this is showing up on the Temptation card. But what I do think this does have to do with your divine feminine, guys. Aries. Masculines. Sorry. I think this tower, this breaking down, this crumbling of this thing, of this precipice, of this foundation, or what's not happening, what needs to happen is what's keeping you feeling bound. And I think that has to do with this. Whatever this institutional thing is, again, with the divine feminine, I think this is turned around because it needs to come down. which is what I just said, right? And then boom, we've got it right on top of whatever's making this masculine feel imprisoned. This comes up with me a lot, guys. Marriage comes up with me a lot. Divine Feminine, Aries, if you're married, maybe that's what needs to end. Maybe that's the tower that needs to fall to keep this guy from feeling like he's been trapped in a hopeless situation. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm moving on. On top of the 7 of Pentacles, we've got the 5 of Wands in reverse, okay? The 10 of Wands. The 5 of Wands is over here. The 10 of Wands in reverse. This is all about carrying a burden, feeling like you're burdened. And if one more twig falls on that pile on your shoulders, you're going to break, right? Because you're carrying all of these burdens yourself. You've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. You're juggling all of these things. You can't possibly handle any more creative projects. But I feel like this, you're either stuck here and it's just continuing with all of the super hard work you've put in, or this is also on its way out. And that's what I'm hoping for you guys, Divine Masculines. And that's what I'm going to say with this card, because I think this guy's ready to reap his rewards. And he's been working really, really hard. And I think he's going to get there because he's in the upright and this guy's in the upside down. So what I'm hoping is that means that energy is also fading out and you're going to get to a solution. You're going to get to a solution and you're going to see the fruits of your labor pay off, but you might have to be a little bit more patient because this doesn't happen by human will alone. All right. Next, we've got the Queen of Wands upside down on top of the 7 of Wands. This, for me, whatever this guy is standing up for, whatever he's defending to the end, has to do with this. Whoever this energy is. And I don't necessarily think this is your twin because she is in the upside down. And in the upside down, this person she can be pretty manipulative, pretty moody, pretty temperamental, right? She's fiery, right side up, and creative and passionate, flamboyant. She's got like all her stuff going on, right? She's like on fire. This is a very creative, outgoing lady, right? A lot of exuberance, a lot of warmth. In this position, not so much. A little bit nasty, okay? And like I always say with these, because wands are part action suits, this can be a little bit manipulative. This energy can definitely transfer a little bit into action, right? And being a little bit manipulative with whatever it is she's doing. And you're defending yourself, I think, against this. And if this is your twin and this is how she's acting, maybe because she's avoiding something, which we'll see, even though she's hanging upside down, which I think is a good thing, okay? But if this is how she's acting to you, then know that it's worth a fight. Because it wouldn't be worth a fight if this person was beyond acting in this manner, in this upside down, with this energy that can be a little bit manipulative and moody, okay? So moving on, let's clarify with the feminines for Aries for July. Also, guys, if you want a personal reading, my email is in the description box, and you can also check out my Facebook and Instagram pages if you like. I also do something called Wine and Spirits TV, where I sort of have fun with the full and new moons and relate that to a bottle of wine I'm drinking, and I do a little spread on that. And then I have some other just kind of like journal musings that I've been doing as well about the twin flame experience and my experience and why I decided to do this and all that stuff. So, feminines, here we go. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, there was like a flea or something I had to get. 5 of Pentacles reversed. This is great. When I talked about reevaluating wealth, which is another thing that I talk about a lot, right? Self-worth and wealth, reevaluating your relationship to money and how you view wealth. With the coins falling out of the pocket here, we've got the poverty awareness card turned upside down. This is somebody that's choosing to not look at their situation as being hopeless anymore. This is someone that's choosing to not look at their situation like it's beyond hope. or like they don't have any spirituality anymore. I think that this is about coming out of that, right? A reevaluation of self-worth, health, wealth, and spirituality. We're coming out of this feeling of lack. We're coming out of this feeling of poverty, divine feminines, because we're hanging upside down and we're choosing to see things from a new perspective. And we're choosing to look at our situation as not being beyond our control. We just have to look at it a different way, right? Turn it upside down. So this is great. This is great energy, okay? Now, moving down the line, we had that air sign, right? That young air sign with gathering his knowledge there, like his little mushrooms, right? Ready to put his thoughts into action, ready to put his ideas out there and start communicating them. Whatever this is. On top of that, we've got the Seven of Cups. This is a card of choices. Many, many choices, many, many emotional choices. Sometimes I see this as not knowing how you feel because you don't know which cup to pick. You don't know which cup to invest in here. See all those lovely ladies he gets to choose from. He's like, ooh, I'm the stud. I got all these ladies. 7 cups. Maybe this is how you're looking at your masculine. Maybe you're looking at him as this sort of like young air sign energy, and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to invest in that emotionally. And maybe that's why you're reevaluating how you feel about everything in your life that gives you fulfillment, that makes you feel full and rich and abundant. Or maybe you feel like this person, like this air sign, like you're standing back. Again, this is kind of what I said the first time around, and you're sort of collecting knowledge, right? You're sort of standing. I kind of feel like this is how you're acting right now, feminines. Like you're sort of standing in the shadows and you're like not drawing too much attention onto yourself. And you're standing there collecting things. You're collecting knowledge, ideas. You're moving through your thoughts in a good manner, you know, like now I don't look at this as overthinking and overanalyzing at all. I see this as actually being pretty on point, like analytical, but not in a bad way at all. But then here, this also has to do with maybe evaluating your emotions and how do you communicate what you feel and what do you feel? How exactly do you feel about this? Is this something you want to invest in? Which cup do you choose? Which emotion do you give your attention to? Based on what you know, based on what you think is going on. And how do you feel? Which emotions do you feel? Because you are hanging upside down trying to figure out, feeling like, yeah, I'm getting out of this lack. I'm getting out of this lack of feeling something deeply. But what is it exactly I feel? And how am I basing this on the reality of what's really going on? Aries feminines, I got to say something. I feel like you're really deep people. Really deep with whatever's going on here. Like you just have you put a lot of thought into stuff. I don't know a lot about your sign. My Venus is an Aries for me. So Aries is kind of like where my love sign is, which is really fiery. Aries love is like, it's no wonder I have a problem with commitment. Right? Because it's all about burn, burn, burn. Like, let's get this fire going, light it up, light the bonfire, make the flame big, and then fizzles out really quickly and we get bored. But the Aries feminines, for any of you going through this, I feel like you are really giving a lot to the thought here of this situation. And I feel like this might also have to do with, again, like I said, perhaps the breakdown of a job or a marriage. Something that is making your masculine feel trapped. And like this situation can't go any further because a tower needs to happen. This tower needs to happen. Either he feels like you guys are just like doomed and he's going to do something drastic, but I don't think so. I think this really has to do, because like I said, the towers oftentimes have a little bit of a cosmic sanctioning behind them, right? It's not always just like, I decided to do this and my world fell apart. I think a lot of things build and build and build. And a lot of times they're not within our control. And that's why it feels like such a seismic shift and like such a cataclysmic event. Because we didn't see it coming. This isn't something that we normally decide to do on our own. So whatever this foundation is for you feminines that needs to get turned around, be restructured, it has to do with a lack of a commitment or a lack of feeling a passionate connection. A passionate connection rooted in love and creativity. This is all about your root chakra, your sacral chakra, right? The very place of creativity, right? What keeps you rooted and grounded in the earth, like this staff here, like this rod, what keeps you rooted and grounded in the earth, what defines your communication with other people and how you define your relationships with other people, where your creative center is, where your love comes from. That's what this is all about. And it's in the reverse here on top of this Hierophant. So either this has to do with your job or your marriage. I'm going to stick with that. It's not giving you this. This can also be the card of sexuality, very raw sexuality, right? Or raw creativity. Maybe your job is making you feel lackluster, bored, dull, dead inside, you know? Or that's what's going on in your marriage. There's whatever was there, that spark, that passion that was there and that desire that was there is no more. And maybe that's what needs to be changed. And then we've got this, again, this Fool as this connecting energy here. And this Five of Wands on top of this fighting and this conflict and all of these people, all of that energy now fading out, getting to something a little bit more stable. I see these guys as being kind of getting quiet, right? Not banging those sticks together so hard anymore. Getting a little bit muted, which is a good thing. So let's pull some more clarifiers here. Wow, guys, divine masculines, I really think that you're kind of just in a place here where you have to sort of hold steady and stand your ground, right? Again, I'm going to pull up that defend to the end, the worthwhile card for you guys, okay? Because your feminines are going through a shift right now. They're really having to think things through, and rightfully so. If this has to do with something huge like this structure, this traditional structure that needs to break down, they really have to think about it. And they have to get out of this. And they have to navigate all these emotions and collect all this information. I mean, they're doing the work, which is excellent. Like I said, that they're going really deep here, I think. I don't have the Hermit card or anything, but I mean, beyond a spiritual level, I think they're going deep here on an earthly one, and what they're putting their efforts towards to get this to a better situation. Okay, so that's really, really helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these messenger oracle cards, and I did already shuffle these too. And then I'm going to pull my vintage wisdom, and I did already shuffle these too. But I'm going to give them just like another quick little shuffle for divine masculines. Let's get a nice little message going for you guys, and the best way to sort of maybe stand your ground here, and maybe we can get a little bit of insight into this Queen of Wands reverse too, whoever this person is. Okay, this is somebody nasty in your life. You need to stand up for to them. If you feel like this is how your twin is, your divine feminine is acting, then you just need to have patience and be diligent, be vigilant, protect yourself, right? Keep yourself protected. Do what you got to do, but you have to let her go through this, whatever this new beginning is on her own, okay? I can't make this up, guys. I hope to God you don't think I had this card pulled aside. What's it say? Be vigilant. Just going to go ahead and put that right here, since that's what I literally just said. Be vigilant. Stand your ground. I love all of in these cards too, all of these, this red and orange going on. Now, I was talking about the sacral and root chakras with the feminine. Same thing here, guys. I think you are really, really attracted to your feminine. Like, you feel very passionately towards her. I think you have a lot of desire and a lot of passion. A big, you feel very deeply towards her. Not a big anything. You feel very deeply towards her. Magnetic attraction is what I was going to say. And then here, be vigilant. Okay? Don't let this energy turn manipulative or nasty. but be vigilant. Stand up for what you believe in. Defend to the end the worthwhile. And let her do what she's got to do. Okay, if that's what's going on. All right, Divine Feminines. Talking about all of the stuff you're doing and this big shift that needs to happen and this foundation that needs to break down for you. Let's see what that is. Just giving these cards another little shuffle. Okay. Oh, wow, that's really beautiful. I've never gotten this one. Nurture all you love. He kind of reminds me of Falcor from Neverending Story, for any of you fantasy nerds out there. Nurture all you love. Wow. You know, I really think if I had to equate this to a card, I would say with that Seven of Cauldrons, Seven of Cups, maybe this is all about all of the things you love. And like I said, all the emotions you're having, not knowing which way to go and not knowing which emotions to choose. Perhaps this is really just about you having to give attention to all of them right now. And that could be what's making it really, really hard on you to deal with this, right? Passion and spark that's gone out, you know, and you're just trying to do the right thing. I think you really are. You're trying to communicate and be thoughtful and what's the word I'm looking for? Like exacting, thoughtful and precise. That's not the word I'm looking for. But anyway, yeah, in what you say and what you do and how you act. You know, you're trying to be really methodical about how you navigate your emotions. Because I think you have so much going on here that you love. And you have so many people involved. This might be kind of more of what's happening here. This could be a lot of family conflict, family opinions, you know, all of that stuff going on. That's hopefully, you know, fading out as you hang here and you try and get yourself out of a place of feeling like you don't have wealth. Okay. Last one, we're going to pull one of these vintage wisdoms for you guys. So Divine Masculine for Aries. You know, despite any conflict that's going on, I really think this is a really beautiful spread. You guys have had one of the more beautiful spreads that I've had. I just feel like there's a lot of hope here. Like there's still a lot going on, but there's hope. And I like seeing the Divine Masculine on the side of what I feel here is really feeling like he wants to work very hard to be with his twin, but she's got her things going on. It's a little bit switched from what we normally see, right? Okay, so Divine Masculines. Ancestors. So whatever it is that's happening for you or however you're dealing with what's happening, I always take this as a card of being protected and being led along this journey and along this path by those who came before you. In whatever way you want to take that, it doesn't have to be blood relatives, right? Our ancestors are our spiritual ancestors. So however they are guiding you along this path, however you feel guided along this path is probably the way to go. And I feel like you really are, again, like I said, being protected. I think you really are going to see the rewards of your labor. And that's why you're able to stand here and be vigilant and defend it. And I think that what I said about that tower happening and it not always being in our control is because there's more going on behind the scenes here. But when the ancestors card is there, I always see that it's extremely positive because that means that we really are being guided here, right? And it means that you're on the right path. So that's fantastic. Masculine, so positive. Aries. Wonderful. Got some masculines that are really having a hard time coming to terms with who they are in this whole process in other signs. So it's very, like I said, it's very nice to see you being so guided and so vigilant. So feminines. For Aries for July, twin flames. Here we go. Guardian angel. Guys, this couldn't be more perfect. Masculines, you've got ancestors. Feminines, you've got guardian angel. There's somebody watching over you, divine feminines. If any of you divine feminine Aries have lost a mother, a grandmother, an aunt, somebody very close to you that you felt was very protective over you, I would say that this message should ring especially true to you. And also, I love that this is on the nurture all you love, with the nurture all you love card, because that doesn't necessarily have to mean relationships that are still existing, right? It could be the memory of somebody we held very, very dear and is also watching over us on this journey. So divine masculines, you've got your ancestors watching you and guiding you along this path. Divine feminines, you have your guardian angel there, which you should feel, whomever that is, again, to you, you should feel very lucky to have and compelled to reach out to whenever you need to help yourself maybe see this other perspective and come out of this feeling of lack and navigate these emotions, right? And carry through with any big shifts and changes that need to happen, because you are also being watched and protected and guided. That is just such a beautiful spread, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I don't know what else I could say about it. Hopefully you like this. Hopefully you found it helpful. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, of course. And until August, have a good one, and namaste.